A Roman emperor had no smartphone. A Buddhist monk had no productivity app. Aristotle had no LinkedIn profile. Lao Tzu had no morning routine while avoiding his actual morning routine. And yet, these people understood something many ambitious people today forget. The hard part of life is not having access to information. The hard part is knowing what deserves your attention, what deserves your energy, what deserves your ambition, and what deserves to be ignored. That is the real game because modern life gives you more options. Ancient wisdom teaches you how to choose. And if you're an ambitious person trying to build wealth, health, wisdom, and freedom, this is not just the philosophy, but this is the strategy. Most people hear ancient wisdom and think of vague quotes on coffee mugs. Be present, find balance, know yourself, nice ideas, but not very useful when you have bills, deadlines, investments, family responsibilities, health goals, and inbox that keeps multiplying like bacteria. So in this video, we're not going to treat ancient wisdom like decoration. We're going to treat it like an operating system, a way to think better, work better, want better, build better, and live with more freedom. Because the modern ambitious person has strange problem. We have more tools than any generation before us, but we are still anxious. We have more information but not always better judgment. We have more opportunities but less peace. We have calendars, AI tools, sleep trackers, trading platforms, online courses, newsletters, podcasts, and yet many people still end the day feeling behind. And that's the trap. Modern ambition often gives you speed without direction. Ancient wisdom gives you direction before speed. And that changes everything. Let's start with the first ancient lesson. Lesson number 1. Control the controllable. The Stoics had a brutally simple idea. Some things are up to you. Some things are not. That sounds obvious until you watch how people live. A person checks the market every hour, even though they are a long-term investor. A creator refreshes YouTube analytics 10 times a day even though the next useful action is just making the next video. A professional worries about office politics, other people's opinions, economic cycles, interest rates, comments, competitors, trends, and what someone from high school thinks about their life. And that is not ambition. That is mental leakage. The Stoic move is to separate control from noise. Here is the simple filter. It is within my control? Is this within my influence? Or is this just noise wearing a serious costume? Because not every problem deserves your mind. You cannot control the stock market, but you can control your savings rate, your asset allocation, your research process, your patience, and your risk management. You cannot control the algorithm, but you can control your publishing schedule, your storytelling, your thumbnails, your packaging, and your willingness to improve. You cannot control aging, but you can control sleep, walking, strength training, sunlight, protein, fiber, stress, and whether you keep pretending that 4 hours of sleep is a personality trait. You cannot control whether people approve your path. You can control whether your path is aligned with your values. This is the first ancient rule for modern ambitious people. Peace is not having fewer problems, but it is having fewer fake problems. A fake problem is something that steals your energy but gives you no useful action. A real problem gives you a next move. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, do not ask, how do I fix my whole life? Ask this, what is the next controllable action? That question is small, but it brings your power back. Unambitious people need that because ambition without control becomes anxiety. Lesson number 2, build character. Before success, Aristotle believed that excellence was not an event, it was a habit. And that's uncomfortable because modern culture loves dramatic change. The viral transformation, the 30-day challenge, the big launch, the overnight success story that quietly lives out the 10 years of invisible repetition. But ancient wisdom is less impressed by intensity. It cares more about identity. Who are you becoming when nobody is watching? That question matters because most people chase outcomes without building the person who can sustain them. They want wealth without investor behavior. They want abs without healthy defaults. They want freedom without discipline. They want wisdom without reflection. And they want a calm life, but keep feeding a chaotic mind. Aristotle would probably say, stop obsessing over the result and look at your repeated actions. You become what you repeatedly do and not what you occasionally intend. Not what you post, not what you plan, but it's all about what you repeatedly do. So here is a practical shift. Instead of asking, how do I get rich? Ask, what would a wise investor do today? Maybe the answer is boring. Avoid debt, buy assets, track spending, study a business, increase income. Do not panic because someone online said the market is about to collapse for the 47th time. Instead of asking, how do I get fit? Ask, what would a healthy person choose tonight? Maybe it's not a perfect meal. Maybe it is simply not eating like a raccoon at midnight. Instead of asking, how do I become disciplined? Ask, what would a focused person ignore this morning? That one hurts because focus is not only about what you do, it's about what you refuse. The ancient view of character is very practical. Your habits are votes for your future identity. Every workout is a vote. Every saved peso or dollar is a vote. Every deep work session is a vote. Every avoided temptation is a vote. Every honest review of your mistake is a vote. And no single vote changes the election, but the pattern does. That is why modern, ambitious people need character more than hacks. A hack may help for a day. Character compounds for decades. Lesson 3. Audit your desires. Buddhist wisdom is often misunderstood as being against desire, but the more useful interpretation is this. Desire without awareness creates suffering. That is especially important for ambitious people because ambition is desire with a business plan. And ambition is not bad. Wanting a better life is not bad. Wanting financial freedom is not bad. Wanting to build something meaningful is not bad. Wanting to become healthier, wiser, stronger, wealthier, and more useful is not bad. But an examine to wanting is dangerous because you may spend 10 years climbing a ladder that someone else placed against the wall. You may buy things you do not truly value. You may chase status disguised as success. You may build a business that gives you income, but steals your peace. You may accept a promotion that gives you money, but removes your time, your health, and your freedom. And that is not winning. That is just upgrading the cage. So here is the ancient practice for modern ambition. Do a desire audit. When you want something, ask 5 questions. Do I truly want this? Who taught me to want this? What will this cost in time, money, health, attention, and relationships? Will I still want this after I get it? Does this move me closer to freedom or further from it? This is how you avoid expensive confusion. A luxury car can be a reward. It can also be a prison with leather seats. A bigger house can be a blessing. It can also become a bigger monthly obligation. A business can create freedom. It can also become another job wearing a founder costume. More is not always more. Sometimes more money comes with less time. Sometimes more status comes with less peace. Sometimes more opportunity comes with less focus. The wise person does not reject ambition. The wise person purifies ambition. They ask, is this desire mine? Is this desire worth the cost? Is this desire leading me toward freedom? That is how ambition becomes clean. Because ambition without awareness becomes a very expensive cage. Lesson 4. Stop forcing what needs timing. Taoist wisdom has a lesson ambitious people often resist. Not everything improves through force. This is difficult because we are trained to push. Push harder, work longer, optimize everything, try more strategies, add more tools, consume more content. But some parts of life do not respond well to force. You cannot force a seed to grow faster by shouting at the soil. You cannot force trust. You cannot force creativity. You cannot force compounding. You cannot force a good investment opportunity to appear when prices are bad. You cannot force a business to mature before the market understands it. You can prepare, you can plan, you can improve, you can show up, but you cannot control the season. This is where Taoism becomes surprisingly practical. There is a difference between effort and force. Effort is showing up to write every morning. Force is staring at analytics and demanding that the internet love you immediately. Effort is studying investments and waiting for a good opportunity. Force is buying something mediocre because you are bored. Effort is training consistently. Force is destroying your body because you want a 6-month transformation in just 6 weeks. Effort works with reality. Force argues with reality, and reality usually wins. So ask yourself, am I applying effort or am I forcing an outcome? Is this the right season for this goal? What is the simplest next move? Where am I creating resistance by trying too hard? This does not become passive. That is the mistake. Ancient wisdom is not telling you to sit under a tree and wait for life to deliver your dreams. It is telling you to move with better timing. There are seasons to build, seasons to rest, seasons to learn, seasons to execute, seasons to wait, seasons to cut losses, seasons to double down. The ambitious person who understands timing has an edge over the ambitious person who only understands effort. Because force is noisy, mastery is quiet. Lesson 5. Your environment is training you. Confucian wisdom places a lot of value on ritual, relationships, and environment. That may sound old-fashioned until you realize your environment is shaping you every day. Your phone layout is an environment. Your friend group is an environment. Your YouTube subscriptions are an environment. Your bedroom is an environment. Your calendar is an environment. Your pantry is an environment. Your desk is an environment. Your bank account is an environment. Your default settings are shaping your default life. Most people overestimate willpower and underestimate surroundings. They say, I need more discipline, while sleeping beside their phone, working in a messy room, following people who trigger envy, keeping junk food visible, and leaving their calendar open to everyone else's priorities. That is not a discipline. That is an architecture problem. The ancient insight is simple. You become shaped by what you repeatedly see, tolerate, and practice. So the modern move to design your environment before you demand more willpower. Want to read more? Put a physical book where your phone normally goes. Want to eat better? Make the better choice easier and the worst choice inconvenient. Want to build wealth? Automate investing before lifestyle inflation gets a vote. Want to focus? Remove the apps that turn your attention into a casino. Want to become wiser? Spend more time with people, books, and ideas that make your mind cleaner. Here is a simple environment checklist. Who makes me more disciplined? Who makes me more distracted? What room makes me work better? What app makes me weaker? What habit is quietly shaping my future? This matters because your future is being trained by your surroundings before your willpower even enters the room. That line is worth remembering. Your future is being trained by your surroundings before your willpower even enters the room. So stop trying to become superhuman because become well designed. Lesson 6. Act fully, release the outcome. The Bhagavad Gita offers one of the most useful lessons for ambitious people. You have a right to your action, not to complete ownership of the result. The idea is hard for modern people because we are addicted to outcomes. Views, likes, salary, promotions, portfolio value, body weight, subscribers, revenue, rankings, approval. We do the work. Then immediately ask, did it validate me? That is exhausting. And it makes you fragile. Because if your self-worth depends on the scoreboard owns you. Detached action is different. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you care deeply about the work without letting the outcome control your identity. This is incredibly useful for creators, entrepreneurs, investors, athletes, and professionals. Publish the video, but do not refresh analytics every 10 minutes like the algorithm is a doctor monitoring your heartbeat. Make the investment, but do not let daily price movements decide whether you are intelligent. Train your body, but do not hate yourself, because the mirror is slower than your ambition. Build a business, but do not confuse a bad month with a bad identity. Detached action has 5 steps. First, define the work, do the work fully, measure the result honestly, learn, release the emotional addiction to approval. That is the balance, not laziness, not obsession. Clean effort, clear feedback. No worship of the scoreboard, because the scoreboard is useful, but it is a terrible master. Do your part completely, then stop worshipping the scoreboard. The ancient wisdom operating system. So, if you combine these ancient ideas, we get a simple operating system for modern ambition. 5 rules. Rule 1, control your attention. Before reacting, ask what is actually within your control. Your attention is your first currency. Spend it badly, and everything else becomes harder. Rule number 2, build your character. Do not only chase outcomes. Become the kind of person who can sustain the outcomes you want. The wealthy identity comes before lasting wealth. The healthy identity comes before lasting health. The free identity comes before lasting freedom. Rule 3, audit your desires. Do not let society, social media, family pressure, or insecurity choose your goals for you. Some desires are fuel, some are traps. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Rule 4, respect timing. Work hard, yes, but stop forcing what needs patience, preparations, and seasonality. The best investors understand timing. The best creators understand timing. The best leaders understand timing. Best athletes understand timing. Rule 5, act fully, release the outcomes. Your job is not to control everything. Your job is to do your part with excellence. Learn from reality and keep your mind free. That is the system. Control your attention, build your character, audit your desires, respect timing, act fully, release outcomes. This is ancient wisdom for modern ambitious people, not as decoration, as daily practice. So here is a simple review you can use tonight. Ask yourself, what controlled me today? What did I control well? What desire pulled me away from freedom? What habit proved my identity? What kind of release before sleeping? Those 5 questions can change the way you live, because most people do not need more information. They need a better relationship with attention, desire, action, and time. That is why ancient wisdom still matters. It removes the noise, it asks better questions, and it reminds you that success is not just about becoming richer, fitter, smarter, or more productive. Those things matters, but they are not the deepest prize. The deeper prize is self-command. To want without being owned by one thing. To work without being consumed by work. To build without being prisoner of what you built. To succeed without losing the person you were trying to save. Modern ambition says, do more, get more, be more. Ancient wisdom asks, more of what? At what cost? For what kind of life? And maybe that is the question every ambitious person needs to ask before they climb faster. Because the goal is not to become impressive. The goal is to become free. If you would like to join my free email newsletter, I create and publish every week those lessons that I learned about health, wealth, freedom, and success. Just join that newsletter by visiting kevinumali.com/free. I'll put the link in the description below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it, and then see you in the next one.